Welcome to our presentation of Feast for the Y4 RSV. This presentation was created by UW-Madison students Ella Mitchell and Ira Hande and was reviewed by campus PI Professor Alfonso Morales. We have little granular understanding of population-level food access. The UW component of Icicle developed Feast to help local governments and nonprofits understand how the changes in the food environment influence food access. Our agent-based model simulates individual and community responses to changes in food distribution. The Feast provides data-driven insights to guide decision-making to enhance food accessibility.
The FEAST ABM uses census data to simulate food accessibility at various geographic scales within a given county. Agents repeatedly interact with each other. In the FEAST, an agent represents households with attributes such as income, household size, and number of vehicles, interacting in a food environment with its stores, food pantries, etc. The model produces a food access score, low, medium, and high, which changes as agent attributes change, for instance, losing food-related government benefits, or as the food environment changes, or, for instance, a grocery store being closed. Each step in the model emulates processes that show patterns that are often difficult to visualize and sometimes missed in aggregate analyses. This approach provides a realistic and adaptable model of food accessibility that can be adapted to different scenarios and demographics, making it a valuable tool for policymakers. So this is our front end. It shows a map of the geography and represents the population and retail environment. So here we can see houses and stores on the map. On the left, there are user controls, for instance, adding or removing a store and running a step of the time interval the user chooses. And on the right, you have data information and statistics for the overall model. The backend runs the simulation and calculates food access scores for household agents from the following parameters: income, household size, transit time, the closest store's distance, and number of vehicles, workers, and stores within 1 mile. It maintains the REST endpoints, which allows the users to update the simulation with new information. And it stores data, which means it maintains the geographic post-GIS data and simulation history data of the model. And on the very right, you can see the simulation logic. The user does an action, which causes the front end to send a request to the backend, which triggers a process in the backend, and then updates the map for the user to see. We use the TAPIST pod service at the Texas Advanced Computing Center for the compute, thus demonstrating part of the Icicle CI.
Franklin County in Columbus, Ohio is the initial study area for the Feast. Some use cases for the Feast tool are that local governments reacting to changes in food policy, like decreasing food assistance or corporate decisions to close grocery stores, will use the Feast to identify changes in food access over time and organize supportive partnerships with local nonprofit organizations. Another example is if a local nonprofit plans to operate a mobile market, it can use Feast to simulate how populations might respond to potential locations over time and evaluate the highest impact places to locate the mobile market.
So future work we have is scalability. We can scale up the Feast geographically and by number of users by working with other Icicle teams to exploit Icicle CI, contribute to model commons, and integrate with reference architecture. We can also use democratizing AI. So we have two 5-year goals. First, demonstrating how stakeholders can bring their own data, as in the Brown County, Wisconsin's instance we're currently working on. And second, integrating the Feast with the privacy preserving sandbox framework. So future goals for this include creating an LLM for the Feast, and the proposal for that is currently under review, and also integrating sidewalks and ADA accessibility to the Feast based off the work of an Icicle fellow. The Feast is now available as a service with Icicle inside. You can contact Alfonso, and his email is right there, morales1@wisc.edu, about creating your own custom instance. Thank you for watching. Bye.